Okay. Today's webinar is going to be on the requirements that you need to fulfill before you come to campus. So we're going to be talking about several different things. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. Okay, so preparing to arrive at Middle Tennessee State University. If you're on this webinar and you've received this information, you have probably already been admitted to the university. If you have been admitted to the university, we're going to need you, first of all, to take the placement test. Right now, the placement test is on reading and math. This is not the English proficiency test. You have all passed that. If you're an F1 student and you are coming from a foreign country, you have already submitted your English proficiency scores, or they have been waived depending on where you're from. This is the placement test that the university requires of all incoming students. It's reading and math. Here at MTSU, we combine history and reading. They are taught together. So this will place you either in your English class. It will also place you in the correct level of math when you come to the university. This is to make sure that you're placed at a level of where you are right now, not the level you want to be. If you want to go faster, you don't want it to be too challenging. You're already dealing with culture shock. You're dealing with a new country. You don't want to be dealing with academics that are beyond you in your first semester here at the university. The placement test is waived if you have submitted either ACT or SAT scores. These scores must be sent to us by the testing service. So you can log into your account and request that the scores be sent to MTSU. We do not accept them from the student. But if you do not submit SAT or ACT scores, you will be required to take the placement test before you register for classes and before you're able to meet with your advisor. They will not be able to place you in classes until you have completed the placement test. The English survey is the second thing. This is a very quick self-initiated test that you're going to take. I believe I've sent the link out to all of the students. If you received an email that has dates, please disregard that email. I also sent another one, I believe, to most of the students, maybe to your MTSU email. If you're confused about the placement test, if you're not sure if you have to take it, please reach out and ask me by email. The English survey is a very short test. It's all questions that you're going to answer. This is going to place you in the regular English class. Sometimes the students will test out if your English is very good. This is something, again, the advisors will not be able to place you in the correct level of English if you don't have this survey finished. With the placement test, there is going to be a PDF that's attached to the email that I sent. You need to complete the PDF, send it back to Ms. Taylor. This is telling her if you have the bandwidth and the internet capability to take the test without any interruptions. If it looks like you don't have the internet capability to take the test remotely from your home, you will need to do it and take the test when you get here to Murfreesboro on campus. It can be done on campus in person, but you will not be able to register for classes until we finish the placement test. So if you can do it online prior to coming, it is better to do it that way. If you cannot, don't worry. We can work it out when you get here. Customs for undergraduate, this is also required. The changes depending on the spring or the fall semester. Fall semester, we have several options of virtual customs for our international students and students who cannot be here on campus. In the spring semester, we have only one. That date has not been set. I'm told it's going to be in January. Our office does not do customs. This is handled by the university central office. And so they decide the dates. Again, they do have online modules that I believe I sent to most of the students. This will allow you to at least do an online customs, getting some information. It should allow you then to go and meet with your advisor after the placement test and the English survey have been done. So the advisors are aware of this. Vaccinations we're going to talk about. This is for all students, regardless if you are an F1, a J, a scholar, all students must have their vaccination submitted. And housing, we're going to talk just a bit about housing because we do, again, do not handle housing. You're going to go to the housing website and get all the information. And last, we're going to talk about customs. No questions, sorry. So the customs modules, as I said, for spring, these are online modules. I have the link here. If it doesn't work, then copy and paste it and put it in your browser window. You must have the customs finished before you meet with your advisor. The advisors are able to see what placements you've gotten, and they will not meet with you until you have the placement test done and the customs modules done. You need to log in using your MTSU email. So if you have not done this, you need to set up your MTSU email. Okay, again, you have to have your MTSU email and student accounts activated. If you go to the ITD department, they have a whole page on how to set up your student accounts. So basically you're doing your pipeline, and that will hook you up to the D2L, the learning platform that you must have, and the email, the MTSU email. Once you've completed the online modules, there is a certificate that is shown with your name at the end. I need you to send the certificate to our office so we can verify that you finished the online modules. Okay, the placement test. The placement test, again, is required by all of our new students, both domestic and international. If you're a domestic student that hasn't submitted their SAT or ACT scores, then they will too take the placement test. So this is not just for international students. Again, if you've taken the SAT or the ACT scores, then please have those sent to our office. This will waive you from this placement test. They use the scores from the SAT and the ACT to place you into the reading and math courses here at MTSU. And again, the test includes math and reading. So our reading is combined with history. And so they need to know exactly the level that you are able to do right now. So there are some study hints, and there's a couple of things, a couple of papers, PDFs on the website for the math portion. Again, it's not something you want to study a lot for because we want to know your level at the moment. Okay, the placement test. Again, the checklist, you must complete the checklist. You must send this back to Miss Taylor. Her email was included in the email that I sent. The PDF was attached to the email. You must send it back to her. There is a fee for the test. Part of the fee goes to MTSU. Part of the fee goes to Examity, the company who is sponsoring the test. But you must complete the test. This is to make sure that you have the bandwidth and the internet capability. If you do not, you'll have to take the test when you come to campus. Again, return the checklist to Ms. Taylor. Ms. Taylor will contact you about making an appointment for the test. She will usually send a voucher that you will need to use to log into Examity and take the test. If you don't use the voucher, it will expire. So when you get the voucher from Ms. Taylor, make sure that you take a time, set a time and a place that you can take the test. You need to start to finish. You need to have no interruptions. You need to make sure that you have the time to finish and that your internet is stable. So pick the time and the place that you can get this done. Okay, again, your MTSU email and your pipeline account must be set up. One thing, most of the university offices, your advisors included, will not communicate with your personal email. They will only use your MTSU email. So if you are delayed in setting up your MTSU email, you are probably missing a lot of important information. And again, as a student, as a young adult, you are responsible for what's in your email, to read your email, to make sure that you have filtered the important things out. And if you miss something, our response is going to be, I'm sorry, I emailed you. It's your responsibility to check your email. Okay, again, MTSU email, set it up. Okay, Ms. Taylor will email you only using your MTSU email. You must complete the placement test before you meet with your academic advisor. If you set an appointment with your advisor and they see you have not taken the placement test, they will cancel the appointment. They cannot place you into a reading course or a math course if you haven't taken the placement test or submitted ACT or SAT scores. They will cancel your appointment and say, you're not ready. The English survey, there's a link in the email that I sent. It is a self-guided set of questions. And again, answer honestly and completely. You don't want to tell us that your English ability is better than it is, because then you will struggle when you get here. So there is no shame in starting at the bottom level. It will just ensure that when you get to your regular courses and your higher level courses, that you are able to handle them. Now, one thing to say, and this is just for general knowledge, all of you have passed, either English is your native language or you have passed the English proficiency test. So once you arrive on campus, there are no accommodations for students of a second language learners. So if you're having difficulty in your courses, it is up to you to talk to your professors. There are numerous ways to get help here on campus. We have a tutoring spot, we have a writing center, we have a math center. All of these places are free and available to help you with your course load. But it is up to you to ask questions. But again, you cannot go to your professor and say, I need more time on the test, because English is not my first language. It is not allowed, and there are no accommodations. You already passed the English proficiency level to be a student here at MTSU, and you are expected to understand what's taught in the courses. And if you cannot, it's up to you to find the help. So be aware that you are totally responsible for your education while you're here at MTSU. That being said, there is a lot of help for students if they need it and if they ask for it. For the English survey, generally you will have a response with a suggested course level within 48 hours. And again, if you take it on a Friday evening, you may not get an answer until Monday. If you take it during the holidays, you may or may not get an answer until after everybody's back into the office. So the English course is to prepare you for the general education English course. You will hear us talk about gen ed courses. These are the courses that every student must take. History, geography, English, those courses, every student here at MTSU, at a state university, you need to take those courses. So this is for all international students whose language is not English. Okay, when you finish these basic courses, there's a regular English course that you will take that every other American student, regardless of where they went to high school, needs to take also an English course. We all did it when we were in university. Some of you may test into that course directly if your English is very good. Most of you will probably take one or two courses before you take that regular gen ed course of English. Your email accounts and your student accounts. Okay, use your MTSU email for all communication. Okay, again, the university staff will not, I don't know why it's all doing it. The university staff will not communicate with you if you use your personal email. Always include your M number. When you're emailing us at the end or in the subject, put your M number so we know and we can find your account quickly. Most professors, university staff will only use your MTSU email. If you don't have your MTSU email set up and you're communicating with your personal email, they will not use your personal email. The MTSU email is more secure, and as a student, this is what they will use. It's your responsibility to check it daily. If you learn to check it daily, you learn the people what kind of email are important, what email maybe you can just breeze through. Anything from our office, either my name, Megan's name, Nathan's name, or from International Student Scholar Services, is probably going to be something that you're going to want to check. Because we often send reminders about your schedule, registering for classes, staying in compliance with SEVIS. Those email we send out to your MTSU email. So if you don't check, if you miss the email, it's your responsibility. Okay, again, multiple times I'm going to say this because this is extremely important. If you haven't set up your MTSU email, please do it now. Again, this is going to be, if you can't use this link, then I'm going to ask you to copy and paste the link, put it into your web browser, but this will bring up a whole page on how to set up your MTSU student accounts. You want to try to do this as soon as you can, so when you get here and your professors are communicating with you, you're getting all the email before and after class. They will continue to communicate with you. D2L is our learning platform. You need to have that set up. You need to be familiar with that so you can submit your assignments, get your homework, do the discussions, watch webinars, presentations, all come through D2L. So the closer you get to coming to the university, to make sure you understand these platforms and you have them set up and ready to go. Okay, vaccinations. You are required to have 2 MMR, mumps, measles, and rubella, and 2 varicella, it's chickenpox. So these 2 need to be submitted directly to health services by using the portal. And again, if you go to health services homepage, on the right-hand side, there's a portal for you to log into, and you need to submit your health service records, vaccinations records to the portal. Do not submit these to our office. We no longer take them. We cannot submit them for you. If you have a problem using the portal, you're going to need to contact health services. They're the only ones who can accept vaccination records. Okay, now there is a built-in hold in our system that if you do not have 2 MMR and 2 varicella, you will not be able to register full-time. Full-time is 12 credit hours. It will stop you at 11.99 hours. What that means, if you're an F1 student, it means that we are not able to register you in SEVIS and you are not in compliance. And if you don't get the vaccination submitted or talk to health services and make arrangements for taking the vaccination, then if I can't register you in SEVIS, my only choice is to send you home. So this is a regulation from the state of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee State University. We give you plenty of advance notice that you need to get this taken care of. So if you're an F1 student, you must have these taken care of, hopefully before you arrive on campus, or at least have a plan. Take 1 MMR, 1 varicella before you arrive and get the second one here, that's fine. Best if you can have both of them done. Send the vaccination records to health services. They will let you know whether they're accepted or if there's something you need to do to either get another vaccination or do a blood test or whatever you need to do. They will be responding to you after you've submitted them to health services. We cannot accept them. If you send them to us an email, I will not send them on to health services. I'm telling you now, you submit them to health services directly. Don't send them to us. We can do nothing with them. Make sure you have these taken care of before you arrive on campus, or at least have a plan of how you're going to take care of these. So you're not stuck on that first week of class, not being able to register and having me say to you, if you don't get this worked out, I need to send you home. All right, so this is serious. If you're an F1 student, this is very, very serious. Housing. You must make arrangements for housing on your own. We do not make arrangements. Start on the MTSU website for MTSU housing. The only thing I can tell you is if you want to start an application, the first thing you need to do is have proof of your meningitis vaccination. You cannot complete the application without submitting your meningitis vaccination verification. So this stops you before you even pay a deposit. You need to submit your meningitis vaccination verification. Then you will be able to submit the application, pay your deposit, and then hopefully keep your room. So if you don't have the meningitis vaccination proof, get that first, and then go to the MTSU housing website and get started. I do recommend you do this as soon as you can because housing is in demand. The last 2 semesters, it has closed early. And so you want to know, don't wait till the last minute thinking that you'll be able to find a house or find a dorm room. Do it now, make sure you have a dorm room. And if they fill up, then you can make arrangements for off-campus housing on your own. But don't wait until the last minute to get your housing. Okay, again, preparing for your arrival at MTSU. When you get your visa, please send a copy to our office. If you were denied for a visa, please let us know that as well. If you are in the process of making an appointment, and it looks like the appointment is going to be after the start of classes, doesn't matter the semester, you need to reach out to our office and let us know, because it's likely you will need to defer to the following semester. You must be here no later than the first day of class. We cannot accept a student coming in 1 or 2 weeks after the start of classes. So if your visa appointment is after the first day of class, you will need to defer until the following semester. If you're watching this webinar and your visa appointment is around a year in advance, you may need to defer 2 semesters. So let us know when your visa appointment is. Let us know if you are approved, and please let us know if you are denied, so we can help you with the deferral process. The International Merit Scholarship will be awarded to you soon after you receive your acceptance letter. All right, this is only for our F1 students. If you receive the International Merit Scholarship, you need to return the signed and initialed form to our office. I like to have this before I give you the I-20, so I can add it to the I-20. Now, signing on the bottom, but there are also different points of the scholarship. I need you to initial. So when I initial, I mean your first letter of your first name, the first letter of your last name. Initial, that's each point, read it, make sure you understand it. If you have a question, please let us know. If you have initialed and signed the form, our presumption is that you understand all of the conditions of the scholarship and you understand when you will get it, what happens if you lose it, your GPA, taking a break. If your GPA falls below 3.0, it's likely you will be put on probation. A second semester under 3.0 and you will lose the scholarship. It does not come back. If you take a break in your studies, you lose the scholarship. Make sure you understand all of these before you start enrolling so you can make sure that you don't lose the scholarship, because once you lose it, it does not come back. Submit your vaccination records to health services. Be sure that you take the placement test if you are able. Okay, now some of you have a hold on your account. You were admitted as a high school student before your graduation. So if this is the case, make sure that you have had your school send the final transcripts to our office. This needs to be happening by the first day of classes. If we don't have it by the first day of classes, any changes you want to make to your schedule, you will not be able to make. One more thing I didn't put on this webinar is a TB test. You will need to have a TB test when you arrive on campus. Same thing, the start hold on the TB test is the first day of classes. So if you want to make changes to your schedule after January 17th, you won't be able to do it unless you have your final transcripts and you've had the TB test and report it to the health services and see if you need to have the test or not. If you don't remember, these holds will not allow you to register for classes for your second semester until you have taken care of these holds. So recently we've had a lot of students say, I have a hold. Well, what is it for? TB. Well, then you need to go to health services. So if you do this in your first semester, then your second semester, you will have no holds and you'll be able to register. But please do be aware that you need to get these things taken care of. And above all, email us if you have any questions. Okay, some dates to remember. December 15th, we are having our first online international orientation. This is where we will go over the immigration requirements, things that you need to remember. We're going to have two of them, one in December, one in January. You must attend one of these two international orientations. After each time, if you let us know I've watched the orientation, we're going to send you a quiz. When you have taken the quiz and sent it back to us and passed the quiz, then we will take the hold off of your account for international orientation. If you have not taken the orientation, you have not watched one, you have not passed the quiz and sent it back to us, you will not be able to do anything as of January 10th. So our hold goes on the week before classes start. So we're having one in 2 weeks. Actually, it's next week, next Friday. The 15th of December, we're having another one in January. You must attend. These are mandatory for all of our F1 and J1 students. You must take this orientation. January 3rd, 2023, the university opens up again from winter break. So our last day of work is the 22nd. We will open back up on the 3rd. Between the 23rd and the 3rd, the emails will not be answered. The offices are all closed. January 9th to the 13th, this is our orientation week. This is the week before classes begin. We do our airport pickup. We have workshops scheduled. We have tours of campus, tours of Murfreesboro, registration. We have our international student welcome event will also be held this week. So this week is for you as a new MTSU student. We're doing all of these workshops to help you get comfortable as a student. All of our workshops are geared toward culture shock, what to do. They're led by previous students and some of our senior students who have been through the initial phase of becoming a student in America. So they have a lot of great, valuable advice to give you. So we will be sending Eventbrite registration forms for that to you. You need to send that back if you'd like to attend. If you'd like to have airport pickup, we have 2 days for airport pickup. It'll be the Sunday and the Monday, I believe, before classes start. You should be receiving invitations on Eventbrite for those things too. So check on your email. Again, your MTSU email will be the one that we use to send all these events. January 16th, the university is closed. This is a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day. And so this is the day before classes start. And then on January 17th is the first day of classes. So you have a little bit of a holiday there the day before to get yourself ready for the first day. I suggest you come out, take a tour of the campus, find your classes, know the buildings, so you're not getting lost on that first day of classes. Okay. If you have any questions, we're going to ask you to email International Student Scholar Services. This is our ISSS at mtsu.edu. This is specific for immigration and for student services. If you have questions for admission, you're going to need to email the admissions team. So we deal with the immigration issues and student services. The student services is going to include the placement testing, customs, all of those things. The one thing I do want to mention here very quickly, insurance is mandatory. Insurance is added to all of your accounts as an F1 student. It is not, you are not able to waive insurance. We started that over a year ago, that it is mandatory for all our F1 students to enroll in insurance, the university's insurance. It's automatically added to your bill. This is true for grad as well as undergrad. So most of our Js are also required to have the insurance. If you have questions about this, please email us, but do not ask for a waiver if you're an F student. There are no waivers. Okay. Again, questions, if you have them, please email us. We are here to help you. We are here to welcome you. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. I would suggest that you first go through this webinar. We will do one more webinar about pre-arrival and other things you need to know. We also have a recorded webinar on the immigration and a little bit about the admissions process. So take the time first to look over the webinars. Take time first to look through the MTSU website and see if you can find your answers. The further you get into your studies, the more likely it is for our office to send you to a website rather than answer your question. We need you to learn to find information on your own. It's easy to ask a question, but it's more mature to find your answers by yourself. So first look through the webinars, look through the website, see if you can find your own answers. If you cannot find the answer, then please reach out to us and ask us. We will either tell you where to find the information or we will give you the answer. So thank you for joining us. Join us for the rest of the webinars, and we hope to see you on campus, either spring or fall, whenever you're due to come. Thank you for coming.